Hello, my name is Michelle Warren. I oversee Project Goal, our district's new teacher induction and mentoring program. And we want to take this time to welcome you to Garland ISD. You have joined a family of passionate, dedicated, innovative educators. We are excited to get to know you and to help you carry on our rich tradition of educational excellence. So, a little bit about me. I didn't start my career in Garland ISD, but I got here as fast as I could. I began teaching in 1992 at Golden Meadows Elementary School. Go Hawks. There, I was mentored by a group of master educators who personified Project Goal motto, which is, "We are better together." They were eager to collaborate and listen to my ideas, even as a young teacher. Over the course of my career, I have been privileged to serve as an instructional coach and an instructional design facilitator in well over 20 plus of our elementary school. My two grown children are products of Garland ISD. They went to Sedham Elementary School, Strady Middle School, and Saxe High School. Run Mustangs Run. I tell you all of this just to let you know that I believe in Garland ISD. We are a family of strong educators who help each other grow and develop as professionals. I have worked with a plethora of outstanding teachers, administrators, and support staff who have all helped me get to where I am today, talking to you, the next generation of excellent Garland ISD teachers. Thank you for choosing Garland ISD. Let me tell you just a little bit about the support you're going to receive as a first-year teacher. You will be assigned a teacher mentor on your campus. This teacher mentor should teach the same grade and or content, and they should meet with you weekly, support you, provide you with the resources that you need to be successful, facilitate an observation, if we're allowed to do that this year, and most of all, guide you as you navigate your first year of teaching. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to email me at mwarren@garlandisd.net. Don't worry, you'll be hearing lots from me. So let's go ahead and begin our first year teacher induction day training. You're going to need your first year teacher notebook. This notebook was organized and created by Lead Forward. It's going to be a very useful resource for you, not just during our session today, but for First Year Teacher Academy as well as throughout the year. You'll need that, paper, pencil, and most importantly, just an open mind and excitement, because today it's all about you, first year teachers. Let's get started. Welcome to Garland ISD's First Year Teacher Virtual Training Camp. We will be covering the first two chapters of the First Year Teacher Induction Notebook that was created and organized by Lead Forward. If you do not have your First Year Teacher Induction Notebook, you will not be able to complete this session. Please contact me at mwarren@garlandisd.net to schedule distribution of your book. Our expectations for our virtual session today are: have your materials ready, your book, your paper, and a writing implement. Take care of yourself. Feel free to pause and restart this video when necessary. Be a learner and be willing to share your ideas and suggestions in the Google Classroom and on Padlet and the other platforms we will use. Take a moment to complete the pre-test questionnaire on pages 204 and 205 of your first year teacher notebook. Join the Google Classroom, if you have not already done so, and enter your name, college, and campus assignment in the Google Classroom discussion. We will give you 10 minutes to complete these tasks. Today, we will cover chapters 1 and 2 of the First Year Teacher Induction Notebook. You will also attend another session created and presented by our behavioral specialists. You will be able to select classroom management for either face-to-face or the virtual classroom. You will find the session links on the Garland ISD new teacher site. Let's get started. Chapter 1 begins on page 9 in your First Year Teacher Notebook. Becoming an effective teacher. Today, we will think about how a new teacher prepares for a successful year, the characteristics of effective teachers, how you will recognize and choose those effective teacher characteristics and behaviors, apply the attributes of effective teaching, as well as reflect upon your practice in order that you may continually improve. So let's talk about who is driving the bus. Let's take a trip on the Learning Trip bus. You are the driver for this learning trip. It is August and you are ready. You know where you're going and you have your passengers. Turn and look at them. Ready to go, all on board. Your job is to move these passengers from where they are to where they need to be. You have never made this trip before, so the road will be new to you. You have never driven a bus before, so that will be new also. But you are excited and ready. You take off on this trip with passengers on board. You are moving along at a rapid pace when suddenly you hit a huge bump in the road. You didn't see it coming. You are shaken and you turn to see how your passengers are. You realize that some of them popped right out of the window when you hit the bump. You feel terrible about it. You want to stop and get them back on, but you must get to your destination on time. So you move forward again, hoping someone will pick them up on their way. Back on track and moving forward, you gain a little confidence and speed up. Again, out of nowhere, another bump. This one worse than the one before. You look in the mirror in time to see more of your charges flying out the windows. You are feeling bad now. But you must continue the journey. You must get to the destination. You continue, speeding up, hitting bumps, and losing passengers. You cannot stop. You must get the bus to your destination. Finally, you reach the destination. Hallelujah! You are exhausted, but you made it. You turn, look, and what do you see? Oh no, you are the only one who is still on the bus. I want you to notice how the objective moved from getting the passengers to the destination to getting the bus to the destination. Our task as a teacher is to move our students from where they are to where they need to be. If the driver, the teacher, is the only one on the bus when it arrives, then it is definitely a failed trip. Food for thought. How do we ensure that our students get to their destination? There are 4 phases of a successful learning trip. First, of course, is the route, planning and preparation. Is the trip well planned? Did we create a rigorous lesson that is aligned to the TEKS? The bus. Is our physical or our virtual classroom ready? Do we have all of our materials? Are we organized? The passengers. Did we differentiate for our learners? How will we reteach concepts? How will we keep them engaged? And of course, the driver. Are we professional educators? As a teacher, we should always be reflecting on our practice in order to improve our instruction. Please review page 11 and make notes in the areas you feel most comfortable and least comfortable. Be sure to reach out to your mentor if you have any questions. Read the intro on page 12. Please scan the QR code or enter the bit.ly address to access our Padlet discussion. Please take this opportunity to provide characteristics of effective and ineffective people. We will give you 5 minutes to complete this task. If you need more time, feel free to pause the session. Most importantly, take a look at what your peers are writing about effective and ineffective people. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on effective educators and ineffective educators. Every year, every group comes up with an almost identical list on both charts. Usually, about 90% of the characteristics listed are effective qualities and people skills, not content issues. I don't know anyone who sets out to be the worst teacher in America. How is it then that every one of us could think of one or more terrible experiences? How do people end up on this chart? One of the things we know we can do is to look at what effective people do and do those things, and look at what ineffective people do and avoid those things. Our goal as teachers is to be effective. We know what we want, so how do we do it? How do we stay off the worst chart? Everything we do will be about increasing our knowledge and skills to become more effective as teachers. We all want to be effective teachers. Harry Wong defines effective teachers as having high expectations, being effective classroom managers, and teaching for the mastery of all students. As noted on page 13, these qualities are hierarchical. You cannot teach for mastery with poor classroom management. And you cannot have a well-managed classroom without having high expectations for your students and for yourself. Almost everything a teacher does fits with one of these three qualities. I would like for you to take a few moments to read pages 13 through 15. Think about the information presented and how these characteristics will define you during your first year of teaching. Respond to that question in the Google Classroom. You will access the First Year Teacher Google Classroom. Go to Classwork, Chapter 1 Topic, Assignment 1. Pause the recording while you complete this activity. Let's talk about highly effective teachers. This list is found on page 16. Excuse the error on this slide. I'm going to do my best to read through the expectations of highly effective teachers. The highly qualified beginning teacher should be able to meet state licensing standards that require candidates to possess a deep understanding of the subjects they teach, evidence a firm understanding of how students learn, demonstrate the teaching skills necessary to help all students achieve high standards, create a positive learning environment, use a variety of assessment strategies to diagnose and respond to individual learning needs, demonstrate and integrate modern technology into the school curriculum to support student learning, collaborate with colleagues, parents, community members, and other educators to improve student learning, reflect on their practice to improve future teaching and student achievement, pursue professional growth in both content and pedagogy, and instill a passion for learning in all their students. When I read through this extensive list, it seems overwhelming, but remember that it takes time to be highly effective. Give yourself some grace. Put a star by the traits that you feel most comfortable with. Put an arrow by the trait or traits that you feel like you need to work on. We have started the conversation regarding the characteristics of effective and ineffective educators, what it means to be an effective teacher, the 4 phases of a successful learning trip, and the criteria that educational entities such as the NCTAF and NBPTS set regarding what a highly qualified teacher should know and be able to do in order to help their students learn. We would like for you to take this opportunity to reflect using the triangle, circle, square reflection page found on page 20. After you reflect in your own book, please access Jamboard using the bit.ly address or the QR code found on this slide. Then complete the triangle, circle, square reflection. We will give you 15 minutes to complete this task. Let's move to Chapter 2 on page 23. How will we get ready for our students? Whether we are starting face-to-face or virtually, we must always be prepared. In this chapter, we will go through the first day essentials, lessons, and checklists that will help you develop a plan to start school with confidence. What you do on the first days of school will determine your success or failure the rest of the school year. You will either win or lose your class on the first days of school. I love this quote from Dr. Harry Wong. It is true of face-to-face, virtual, or blended learning. We must set the tone, define our expectations, outline the structure, and build relationships with our learners. Let's get ready to tackle the first days of school. Just like a football coach holds practice to prepare for a game, teachers need to practice to prepare for the first day of school. When we think about the learning trip, there are 3 things that must be ready before the passengers board. For the first day, the teacher should be rested, nourished, and relaxed. The lessons, the plans for the first few days, including your virtual learning plans, office hours, and how will you connect with parents and students, should also be ready. And thirdly, the space. For this year, what will your teaching space look like? What materials do you need to have ready to go? When we are allowed to go back to face-to-face learning, how will you organize your classroom? Here are your first day goals. Get to know your students. You can get to know your students in a variety of ways that can include short writing samples, scavenger hunts, virtual discussion boards, Flipgrid responses, virtual circle time, talking with partners, etc. Think about how you will get to know your students when you're teaching them virtually. Then think about how you will get to know your students when you are in the face-to-face classroom. Setting your expectations is critical. In a physical classroom, this includes where students will sit, how their materials are organized, how they will enter and leave the classroom, where work will be turned in, etc. The same systems are important in a virtual classroom. How will students turn in their assignments? What should their learning environment look like? What are your expectations for synchronous and asynchronous learning? The first day is always a bit stressful. I was always thrilled when my students arrived at school early, learned a bit about me and their peers, and got home safely. In my book, that was a successful day. Many of the first day organizational concerns are going to be addressed at your campus, but you can begin preparing for your students now. How will they get home? Are they bus riders, daycare, walkers, drivers, etc.? How will important documents be distributed and collected? What checklist will you maintain to keep up with the critical paperwork? Obviously, virtual school for the first 3 weeks will be necessary. What checklist will you maintain to keep up with the critical paperwork? This includes the first 3 weeks of your virtual classroom. How will you track the important documentation? Which students don't have internet or won't be able to meet during the school day? What time will you teach your lessons and hold your office hours? There are 7 questions that students need to know the answers to on the first day of school. Therefore, teachers must plan with these questions in mind. I will cover these 7 items found on page 25 and will give you examples of each. However, this is by no means an exhaustive list. Question number 1, am I in the right room? In order to make sure that you answer this question, you need to make sure that you contact every child in your classroom. Then make sure that they know how to access Canvas, Seesaw, or Google Classroom, whatever platforms you may use for your virtual teaching. Question 2, where am I supposed to sit? In this particular case, you would have your students designate a virtual learning space. That way they know when they are sitting in that particular spot, it is time to work. Also, when will your students attend their synchronous learning? Question 3, what are the rules in this classroom? I will tell you that the behavioral specialist session will cover this in more detail. Make sure that you post and discuss your virtual learning rules and expectations for all learners to see and be reminded of daily, especially in the beginning. Question 4. What will I be doing this year? As we know, our situation is fluid and ever changing. Make sure you do the best you can to outline the plan for virtual and face-to-face learning. Question 5. How will I be graded? Make sure your students know what assignments you will take for grades. And then also, as often as possible, make sure that you provide rubrics so they know what they're going to be graded on. Question 6. Who is this teacher as a person? I cannot stress to you enough. Take the time to get to know your students. Tell them about yourself. Build those relationships at the very beginning. That is the most critical piece to being an effective teacher. And question 7, will the teacher treat me as a human being? Right now, we all need a little more TLC. How will you build relationships with your students? How will you extend grace, especially during these uncertain times? Please make sure that you meet with your mentor, your department chair, or team leader to devise a plan in response to these questions for the first day of school. Let's talk for a minute about the first day's lessons. Please refer to page 27 in your notebook. To teach for learning, we must do effective planning. Every lesson should be designed to lead students to develop and increase knowledge and skills as specified in the curriculum standards. Lessons should be simple enough that everyone can feel successful, yet challenging enough that students know it is important. Please remember that student schedules are often changed and some students move in and out of the first couple of weeks. Think about how that might affect lesson planning and record keeping. It is often a good idea to give diagnostic work, pre-tests on knowledge and skills, to see where they are academically, especially due to the district closure last spring. Page 27 gives an overview of Madeline Hunter's lesson cycle. She created this lesson cycle, which provides a lesson framework for teachers. Hunter's method is straightforward and uses a common language that classroom teachers can easily understand. Although Hunter's method may be easy to implement, it may also be complex in its application, depending upon the specific objectives of the teacher. The steps of the lesson cycle, presented by Madeline Hunter, are focus. Your focus should be TEKS-based. You always want to make sure your lesson is aligned to the TEKS. You want to create interest and connect to students' prior knowledge. The second step is instruction. You want to explain, define, model, and ask probing questions during your instruction. Step 3 is guided practice. You want to monitor the application of learning and ensure that your students are successful. Step 4 is independent practice. This is where you will check for students' individual understanding. Step 5 is closure. This is where you want to connect and summarize the learning. This is also when you will assess the mastery of your students. Did they easily understand the concept, or do they need a small group lesson? Make sure you utilize Garland ISD's district curriculum. There will be a plethora of lessons, activities, questions, stems, etc. that you can use for your virtual classrooms and your face-to-face lessons. If you're like me, this practice will be one of the most rewarding as a teacher. Some of your lessons will go well and some will not. But I can assure you that the teacher down the hall with 20 years experience has good days and bad days. Here is a visual for you when you were thinking about Madeline Hunter's lesson cycle. The focus with the TEKS. The instruction is the I do, where the teacher models. The guided practice is we do. The independent practice is you do. And then, of course, the closure is the review. And always you're going to be monitoring and adjusting for your individual students. We saved the best for last. Please utilize the checklists on pages 28 through 34 to organize and prioritize yourself. Ask your mentor or lead mentor to help you with questions that you do not know how to answer. And most definitely make notes on these pages. Looking forward, imagine that you are at the end of your career as a teacher after having taught for many years. You are being honored with a retirement dinner. Your former students are coming back to honor you and will speak about the difference you made in their lives as a teacher. If your career could be what you most desire, what would you hear them say about you? My dad, who was a public school educator in Dallas Independent School District for 32 years, used the term self-fulfilling prophecy when he spoke about our choices in the future. A self-fulfilling prophecy is a belief or expectation that an individual holds about a future event that manifests because the individual holds it. Think about this ideology when you are projecting for your retirement. Please take this opportunity to get to know your peers and allow them to meet you. Create a Flipgrid video in response to this question. If your career could be what you most desire, what would you like to hear others say about you? Use the Flipgrid URL, the QR code, or the bit.ly address to access the Padlet video discussion platform. I cannot wait to hear what your goals are. Thank you. Teachers are so resourceful, especially when we are looking for free resources. I want to show you 2 free sites that you can access in the coming weeks. The first site is Teach Like a Champion that was created by TEA. After you create your free account, you can access a variety of modules. Let's take a look at Strong Voice. Notice that they provide short videos, they give you an outline, a video to watch, a scenario, as well as step-by-step modeling of that strategy. Make sure to utilize this free resource. The other site is Lead Forward, who developed and organized your first-year teacher notebook. There are a variety of instructional tools on this site, and because we are a Lead Forward district, you will receive more training as well as gain access to the supports we purchase. Here is an example. The Instructional Strategies playlist provides a variety of instructional strategies that you can utilize with your students. They give you step-by-step instructions as well as examples. When you meet with Debbie for First Year Teacher Academy, she will go over the instructional strategies in more detail. Please make sure to download the Lead Forward app on your iPhone or on Android and check out a few of the supports before First Year Teacher Academy. Once again, we want to welcome you to our team. We are so excited to support you as you navigate your first year of teaching. I want to take a moment to play this clip from Rudy, one of my very favorite movies. While you're watching the clip, I want you to think about how Rudy is similar to you as a first-year teacher. And I want you to think about how the members of Garland ISD, administrators, peers, teachers, support staff, how we are like his teammates, coaches, and fans.
It's just occurred to me what the student body has been chanting for the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's the name Rudy. Dan Rudy, a walk-on senior, subject of a feature article in yesterday's student newspaper, The Observer. After toiling for 2 years at Carnegie Field and go get it, kid! Come on, one more play. Good idea. Stay in.
Just like Rudy, you won't always know what to do. There are going to be times when you're running around on the field, not quite sure what the next play is. But just know we are here to cheer you on. We are here to support you. We are here to coach you. And most importantly, we are here to celebrate your successes. Welcome to the team. Please note that there are mentor connections in your first year teacher notebook that will help you get to know your mentor as well as spawn some strategic conversations. Refer to page 21 and ask your mentor about the best teacher they ever had as a student. Ask why this teacher was effective and make some notes. Also refer to page 36 to discuss how your mentor plans to prepare for the first day of school, especially because we're going to be virtual. And make sure to make notes on page 64 about your mentor's best behavior management tips. Step up your game with effective behavior management. Our very own behavioral specialists, Dawn Jesmer, Cindy Rodriguez, Katrina Spotsville, and Julie Moncrief, created a classroom management session for face-to-face learning and another session for virtual learning. You may select which session you would like to attend. You will go back to the Garland ISD new employee site for the links, and remember that the password is behavior, all lowercase. Again, if you have any questions, make sure to email me at mwarren@garlandisd.net, and I will be happy to support you. Thank you.